Some of you might know me, Vinney Chopra, and my partner, BeauEckstein. And we come to you live at 9:30 Pacific, which is 12:30 Eastern, every Friday. Thanks for joining.
And I think, Vinney, honestly, we at some point we're going to start a affordable housing multifamily division underneath Monale Investments. I'll run the division. We'll have a nonprofit component, and we'll help.
Wow.
We could probably help this in a big way, really.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting week. I hope it's been for you also. Beau, you have some questions, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of questions.
How are you, brother?
Good to see you, Vinney. Good to see you, Beau.
Oh, thank you. We are so privileged to have you.
Hey, Vinney, real quick.
Yeah, bud.
All right, I'll bet you sushi that you don't know what does SAS stand for?
Hi there, everybody joining us, watching us. We are live in 7 channels actually today, in the YouTube, in LinkedIn, in Facebook groups and Facebook. Thanks again for liking the show. Please give comments, share, and we are here for a very big show today. Well, good morning, America, California, all the states, up to Hawaii and all over the world. Vinney Chopra here and BeauEckstein, my brother, right here with Vinney and Beau Show. We come live to you at 9:30 a.m. But the new time starting 2023, we'll see you next year. It's going to be 9 a.m. Friday, every Friday. Again, thank you for joining, and we want to thank our guests today also. We had actually asked to get about 7 guests, but many of them are traveling and things like that. But we were really thankful to Tiffany Rose, our great friend, and Mario Masamoto. Mario, welcome, brother. And brother Beau, how are you doing, bro? How are you?
Doing well. I'm just wondering how we can be as amped up as Vinney. I don't understand how Vinney is. It's like he doesn't even drink coffee. I don't get it. And we're
I just had my latte every morning that I do, but I want to leave this year with a big bang. And that's what we're going to talk about. No matter what kind of business you had this year, if you had a growth year or mediocre year, or what kind of person we were, we want to be better, because whatever happened this year, we cannot even change 30 seconds back what happened. So why to worry? And the future, we spend so much time, what's going to happen next year and the year after and the 10 years from now. And a lot of things are just hoopla. I mean, those things don't happen. All we need to really focus is today and this moment, and make the memories and make it happen every single day. The moments are countable, right, brother Beau? So I just wanted to dress up a little bit, guys. Hey, Happy New Year celebration party, and we're gonna bang into the next year with great enthusiasm and all the positivity. Yes.
No, that's a lot.
Me.
Well, yeah, this year is going to be exciting. So I think this year for me personally, was a good year. It was a year of growth, as always, right? And I've learned a lot about myself this year, which I think is the most important thing. Like, I think everything comes down to your belief system in yourself, right? Like, if you're not willing to, like, for example, the market is, let's say you're a residential mortgage broker. The market's tough now because you went from doing a ton of transactions at 2% money to 7% money, and like a 50-60% reduction in transactions, probably about 70%. I don't know what the actual stat is, but anyways, a huge transaction. So like, what are you going to do? You're going to either like go home and do nothing and make, a quarter of what you made last year, or you're going to go out and create the market for yourself. And so you got to make the decision on what you're going to do. And, you got to put yourself out there, right? Like, you got to figure out a niche and then go all in on your niche. And that's, I think, the really key is to go in all on your niche. And then also whenever I listen to this guy named Todd Herman, he's a performance coach, and he talks about your alter ego. So like, when you go to work, you got to put your alter ego on, and like, you can't accept certain things in your business. So like, when somebody, like in the past, for example, when I'm doing a hard money deal or a commercial loan, and it doesn't work out right for the client, sometimes I feel the guilt, like it's my fault, and I would give them a discount. But it's like, no, I excelled. I got the deal done. I did what I was supposed to do. I can't help that, the appraisal came in short, or your valuation that you told me isn't what the property is going to be worth when it's done. So that's where your alter ego comes in, where you have to have tough love for people and like, hey, I know I'm an expert at what I do. Right. And I am not going to discount my fee because I didn't do anything that deserves that. Right. Like, I just gave myself a 25% raise this year by saying, you know what, I'm going to charge 25% more because I don't need to undercut my fees because I'm the best at what I do. Right. There's a huge difference. I just gave myself a 25% raise by doing that. And it's very simple, right? It was just a mindset shift. So just studying mindset, I think, is the key. And to put your alter ego, when you come to work, whether that's your glasses that Vinney wears, right? He becomes this Vinney Chopra guy, or it's your baseball cap if you're Mario, that now you're in your, construction mode and you're going to do, huge renovation projects and make millions of dollars. You have to have that alter ego. And then when you come home, you have to have that alter ego for your significant other, for your family, for your kids. So Todd Herman, this guy I was listening to, he trains like Olympians, and he trains like Navy SEAL guys. So when the Navy SEALs come back from work, they still have their Navy SEAL uniform on, right? And so they're not good with their kids. So he teaches them to put the Family Guy outfit on. I think it was a pretty big takeaway I just learned. And it's like, I'm going to put something on that I have. And when I put it on, that means it's like Beau, the closer, right? That's who I am, the closer. So just a little nugget that I just got recently that I thought was really cool.
I love it. I love it. Beau, what you're talking is so good. I mean, I always say that, you got to love yourself first, then love your business. Because if you're not happy what you're doing, your customers will feel it. I mean, if you're pressured and you want to make that last sale, and people will feel it, that how desperate you are. And that's when the goal that you want to reach goes farther and farther and farther away. We got to be totally in sync with ourselves and make sure that we have everything in our power. We learn the skills and we are doing all the things we need to do to systematize our businesses. And I say reinventing. I mean, to be truthful, this is the best time to reinvent at the end of the year. What are certain things that we need to do to grow our sales, grow our business, grow our clients and everything. And goal setting is huge in my books and in my academy, in my all the circles. I've updated the goal setting forms. If anybody would like, just email Vinney, info@vinneychopra.com. We'd love to get it to you. We'll try to put it in the social also, so that everybody should take time in reinventing and analyzing this year and making goals for next year. Tiffany, what do you think? Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say another thing is what I learned from this gentleman. He talks about not who you are, but what are you? What are you, Tiffany? Like, because you're not talking about the past. You're talking about right now. What are you? Right. And
I am a leading mortgage loan officer, author, motivational speaker, and master implementer. That's what I am.
There you go. Right.
Love it.
And it just see that mindset shift though. We're not looking back. Like you said that earlier, Vinney, like we can't look back. Like shit's going to happen. Let's face it. We're going to have times where like the day is painful. Like, the appraisal doesn't come back. They declined my $1 million loan for my good client, and it's
That's
like,
when we call Mario. No, help us.
Yeah, right.
Actually, we're not allowed to call Mario, but that's when we complain to our processor, and then they call Mario.
Keep that under your hat.
Now, do you guys know each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's one of our best favorite appraisers.
Look at that.
It's such a small world.
It sure is.
I met Mario with you, Beau. He was doing this like breath exercise thing at one of your, and it was super cool. But this was like, gosh, maybe 8 years ago or something. And then I always remembered him. It was like that thing, his authenticity and that thing that he taught. And he was very memorable. And then he ended up, being super close with us at Guild Mortgage. So yeah, small world.
I plant a lot of seeds. It's Vinney, I had Neil Bawa on the show, who's another big multifamily guy. And he
Great
was
friend of mine, by the way. We just texted. He was in Bali, I think. He sent pictures with his family and all. Just a great friend. Lives only 45 minutes away from here.
Yeah,
And we
but
meet.
but the funny thing was, he said that like he spoke on one of our stages back in the day when we did a big event like 8-9 years ago, and he's like, that's
Yeah.
what really, it was before he was Neil, like he was thankful of it. So it was pretty cool to see, like, so you're people, like, by doing the events we do,
Yeah.
you meet people, right? You get to know different people you might not ever meet, because
Yeah.
usually people that go to these events, all sorts of events, there's kind of they have a certain drive in them that most other people don't, right? Like if you're going to events because you want to improve yourself, right? Like a lot of people, I shouldn't say most people, can't, because I can't generalize, but a lot of people, like, they give up on their learning curves. They stop like driving, right? Like I am so driven, it almost hurts, because sometimes I feel like, hey, I'm not reaching my goals, right? And so it's part of the process, right? Like if it was easy, everybody wouldn't work a 9 to 5 and they wouldn't have their own businesses, right? We've made that decision. So I'm curious on for Tiffany and Mario and Vinney,
Yeah.
what you're going to do differently in 2023. Do you think? How are you going to pivot? Vinney, we'll start with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. To be very truthful, this whole month of December, I've been working towards analyzing my systems, analyzing the softwares. I know we did a show together, you know. Oh, looks like Vinney is Beau and Beau is Vinney. That's okay. Which is good. By the way, we are brothers from different mothers, right? but the thing is, you got to reinvent. That's the word. I had so many systems going on in my businesses, these logins and this and that, and softwares that I don't use, my teams don't use, but we have been paying them and all that stuff. And then also figuring it out, the emails and the funnels and the click funnels and the MailChimp. So I've just gone back to basics. That's the key. Just like Vince Lombardi started every practice by saying, hey guys, this is a football. And that's what I'm trying to do myself, brother. Beau, I'm going to say, okay, this is fundraising, this is syndication. What do I need to do to get more clients? I've got 630 investors now. I want 1130 investors, 500 more. How can I do it? Secondly, my academy, it's in hundreds of people's hands. How can I get it in hands of 1 million people across the globe? That's my new goal. The thing is, then I reinvented the academy, and built it, the news lectures and other stuff and new attachments and all. Anyway, so those are my two parts of the business. And then my passive income strategies with the, startups and, going into more streams of income. That's what I'll be.
Very good. So if I heard you correctly,
long answer. Vinny is always with long-winded.
you're simplifying your systems. You're going deep on your core business activities, and so it makes sense. We have there's too much information, too many software programs, and you end up not using any of them, and then you don't achieve your goals. Tiff, what about you?
So my 2023 plan is about refinement and education. So I've already laid the groundwork with the podcast and the YouTube channels and the content, and I have a virtual assistant. I'm doing all these things. All the foundation is laid. But now I need to refine my message. I need to refine, master, Clubhouse, master how to get the more subscribers and get my message out there. The second one is education. I want to change the industry. I'm launching a loan officer academy called Ignite. And this industry, I see loan officers suffer. I see them cold calling realtors who maybe sold 2 houses in a year, and the lender funded, 30 million, but the realtor thinks that they're better than the loan officer because that's just like some kind of industry stigma that realtors are like high and mighty and lenders are, bottom of the shoe kind of situation. And I want to change industry. I'm tired of seeing us suffer. So I want to educate. I want to put value out. I want to help other loan officers get out of, like what you said, find that grit and learn how to implement and take action. And I want to empower through purpose and process, because if you don't have purpose in your career, you may as well not even be doing it. Because like you said, Vinney, people feel it. if you don't have that purpose in it. So purpose and process and empowering my people in the loan industry is going to be huge, and refining my message for my actual home buying clients.
Love
Awesome.
it.
Hey, Mario, what I was going to say before, you should hook Scott up with Tiff, because his name's Scott Groves. He's a mortgage coach. But anyways, he's got a lot of good insight. He's a really cool dude, really interesting. So I think
I would love it.
Provide a lot of value for what you're looking to do, because
Hook
he's
it
doing
up,
it.
Mario.
Yeah, when you were saying that, Tiffany, I was just he was ringing in my ear. Scott's a good friend of mine, and I talked to him every single day practically. And he was, like all other loan officers, just grinding all the time. And he just kind of got sick of it. And what you're saying is kind of what he was saying. So I've been friends with him when he was just a loan officer. Now he's still doing loans, of course, but he's coaching and is very successful.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that kind of switch. It's kind of like when you see somebody from grinding every day to buying like income property and making passive, you just see like this relaxation within them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing. So yeah, that's awesome. Great message, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. What
Mario,
about you?
how are you changing your business, brother? One for sure, you're having a baby.
I was
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. I was just gonna say, we're talking about, it's like December. We're talking about making the shift, all this, and I keep on thinking, because we have a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a newborn coming up
Yes.
next month in January.
Yes.
And it's funny because I've been thinking about this since I found out I'm having a newborn, and I'm 40 this year, and in my mind, years ago, I always said to myself, "You're going to be retired by the time you're 40." But as I've approached it, even in the last 5 years, I thought to myself, I don't want to retire. I have no need to retire. I actually enjoy, every year I enjoy more and more what I do. So why do I want to retire? But as far as the reinventing yourself goes, I think kind of similar to you guys, I've taken a step back and looked at, kind of like you said, like the basics, Vinney, like this is a football sort of, thing. And it's funny, it's you can call it what you want, the 80-20 rule. What's the 20% that's giving you 80% of the results? What's the 20% that's giving you 80% of the happiness, right? And that's a big key. You should enjoy, like with you, Vinney, you should enjoy your investors. If you have investors that are really, just making it difficult, hey, maybe you should fire them, right? And same thing goes, we should all do that. But what's the 80% or the 20% that's giving us 80% of our business, our happiness, or all that stuff? So for me, it's definitely been that. I own a few companies now, and I think to myself too, like what's the stuff I really enjoy doing? I've been appraising for over 20 years, and it's almost too easy that I don't enjoy it so much anymore. Construction is really, I love, because it's very creative for me. So for this next year going forward, it's really going to be focusing on passive a lot more. So passive income, great time to do it. Market's getting a lot better for investors.
Yes.
And really exactly what you said is focusing on just the basics, and get rid of all the other noise. And I'm excited.
Love it. Brother Beau, what do you say?
Yeah. So I'm going to hire another video editor. So I'll have 3 full-time video editors to create a ton of content, which drives a ton of leads through my funnel, which converts to cash as I close the transactions. I've been doing a lot more SBA type of financing. I enjoy that. And then investing in trust deeds, and also I started getting into the MCA space, which is merchant cash advances. And you can put a little bit of money in these investments, and they're high yielding. So I'm learning that business too, because like if you have your money sitting in a bank account, it gives you good peace of mind, but you're losing money, right? So you got to keep your money as your employees. So you got to make your employees work for you. So you got to set up little income streams, and then just do little hacks that I was never a good saver. And, like we were talking about last episode, Vinney, like, I just cut like $700, and I have like another $1,000 to go of monthly expenses I wasn't using. That's $1,700 a month. Okay. that $1,700 a month gets diverted into some kind of interest bearing account, or it gets diverted. So I have like money going every month into these trust deeds, and then I pick which loan I want to invest in. And then I do the same thing with the MCAs, right? So like your money hits your bank account and then it goes away. You want to be poor in your account. You don't want to feel like you have 6 figures sitting in a bank account. Like, oh, I don't need to do anything. I got 12 months of reserves, because that's what makes you lazy and not grow. Like if you always go, wait, what happens? Like if I have a couple bad months, right? You need to have these streams of income. And so like just set up multiple buckets, bank accounts. I think there's a book called Profit First, which talks about this. So that's the kind of things I think we should all be doing. And these, like all these people that were making a ton of money as in transactional in real estate, these wholesalers, these real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, none of them, a majority of them probably didn't save their money like they should, right? And now like the market goes down, and if you don't have any other income streams, then you're kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now, right? So that's why you have these rainy day income streams. So passive income. I think it's gonna be a phenomenal opportunity to buy multifamily properties. Rental properties there's gonna be more renters, and then I'm also doing the next house. I'm looking for a live-in house hack. I'm gonna sell my house probably, or keep it as a rental, and I'm gonna find an estate home that I'm gonna rehab, move into it, right? Because you can move every couple of years, and if you created equity, you can take that $500,000 tax-free as a married couple. So like that's another way. If I did that 3 or 4 times over the next couple of years, like nobody says I have to live in the same house, right? I can do live-in flips. And I think that's a good strategy. I mean, there's so many good strategies. I just interviewed a guy about how he got his first investment property. He did it like, this is like where nobody's teaching this in the residential space as much, where he bought a duplex, and his name is Millennial Mike. He bought a duplex. He's a police officer in Seattle. He bought a duplex in there. He lived in the unit, got like FHA financing or a high leverage conventional financing. And that was like the fastest appreciating market. He gained like a couple $100,000 in equity. He then took it out. Now he owns 10 doors. Like there's a process to all this, right? And then you can get to like where if you wanted to, you could be a syndicator, right? You could learn what Vinney's doing. And he makes 7 figures when he buys a property sometimes, right? Like that's a whole nother level that we can get to, right? If you want to, you don't have to, but the first things first is you have to set up your base. You have to set up your base. You have to trim the fat during recessions, trim the fat. Like, why am I wasting $1,000 a month? Then I went through my account and I canceled a service that I was using for my real estate business. It was $400 a month, right? I went back and I saw they billed me 4 extra times, right? That's $1,600.
Wow.
Look at your expenses. When you have 10 or 15 bank accounts, it's kind of difficult to do that. But make sure you're looking. I had to call him. I had to fight him to get my $1,600 back. But like, what if I wasn't paying attention? That would have just been gone. It would have been gone.
So true, brother. Yeah, Beau.
The
I
biggest
definitely want to say,
those subscriptions will get
it's so important. As we go into
Did I glitch?
2022. Yeah, it's. I'm so glad. Everybody's together.
it's
Oh, she faded for a minute.
Oh yeah, she faded.
frozen.
No, you're good
go
now.
ahead. Now you're okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm going.
I was gonna
So
just say
the subscription is huge.
No,
Go,
go ahead.
Tiff.
Go ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
I'm freezing on me. Sorry, technical difficulty here. So I'm going to keep on talking. The subscription thing is what I was talking about is huge. I cut the fat on, I think, $800 a month on things that I didn't need, including like HBO Max. I don't even know how to access that or whatever. So that was kind of crazy. But my coach made a really, really good point in this 3-day life course that I went to. Krista Mayshore said, if you can spend $10, $15 on Starbucks in the morning and coffee and things, why wouldn't you take that money, make your coffee at home, take that and hire a virtual assistant to create some content, to figure out some things, problem solve, you make that shift between just blowing money. If you're door dashing too much, take that for 2023, find an awesome virtual assistant online, hiremymom.com or Fiverr, something, and make it happen. Like, find that grit in you and make it happen. I mean, one of the reasons why I want to change industries, I see so many excuses. I'm sure you guys see it, but I think that I see it more with other loan officers because they don't have that grit. You guys with the passive income and the investors and loaning your money out, and, you know, Beau with the SBA loan stuff, you got to have that grind and that grit and trust and learn, educate yourself. But I see a lot of loan officers that they don't, you know, oh, I got a new puppy, or it's the holidays, or my kids are in school, so I can't really do, or my kids are out of school, so I can't really, all these excuses. I don't have any excuses for none of it. I will find the money if I have to borrow it, and whatever I have to do, I will find the money and coach up, level up, and figure it out. And that's what I love about all you guys. You guys just figured it out, right?
Well, we are trying to. We have, we are figuring it out. We are trying to share ideas so that a lot of people following us, Tiffany, also figure it out. The key thing is, don't keep W-2 income as the only income. We are away from starvation and also being homeless if we are get laid off. I mean, it's just ridiculous. In America, people are not really keeping track of, hey, save and invest. And if you cannot save, it's your fault, because you're making so little money. Make more money, buy a side hustle, which I teach and everything. The thing is, you got to be productive, and you got to just do 3, 4, 5 side hustles. Why not? Because that's the only way to save and invest. Thanks, Beau, for sharing. Brother, you shared with me all those different ways that you are investing money, and that's fabulous. And I invest in startups and others, and cash flow. I just looked at my banks. There is like 5,000 coming from one place, another 5,000 coming from another, 6,000 coming from another, 10,000 coming from another account. All these investments I made every month. And then, of course, the equity gains and all. Anyway, but the key thing is, you got to really be different next year. What are you going to do? Everybody listening to us, please follow us. Just a little promo. It's a Vinney and Beau show. We come live to you every Friday, 9 a.m., our new time, 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern. That'll be our new time. And we love you. Join us, comment, like us, and come and meet us. And we can answer your questions. We can bring guests and everybody. But the big thing is, we got to take charge of our life. As we leave this year, we got to see, and in retrospect, what happened this year. Were you happy? Were you really satisfied with your performance? Were you able to change the habits that you wanted to change a year before? Or did you get back into the same rut? Because, see, the problem is, we get back into the same rut. We go to seminars, we read books, we listen to podcasts, but we don't change that moment, next moment, and next day, and the day after. I call them junkies, seminar junkies. They go to so many virtual events, but they don't change. They just live the same life, and then the business goes down or stagnant. You got to be excited about life and being positive, and let the laws of abundance and positivity and manifestation work in our life.
That's funny you said that, because I had a coaching call last week, and my realization is that I have a very, like, I learned that being disciplined is almost easier. So I wake up and go to the gym, and then I come back, take a shower at my house, and then I come to my home office and I work all day. Yeah. But the big piece that I was doing wrong for the last 20 years is I come in and I immediately go into my emails, and I'm working on other people's activities, yes, not mine, right? They want to sell me something. Yeah. And I'm spending time there, or I'm putting out fires on a transaction. And then I go, you know what? This is the stupidest shit ever, right? So true. The first 4 hours in your morning, if you're a hunter gatherer like I am, you're hunting. That means you're putting out content. The more content I put out, the more deals I get. It's a very simple equation. Totally. And I'm also building digital real estate blog sites and all this stuff. So for 20 years, I've been doing the same shit, like not doing money-making activities. Like, if you want to make more money, what do? You do money-making activities. So like
Exactly.
whatever your thing is, whether you're a construction guy or you're a multifamily syndicator or you're a coach, right? Like do the shit that's going to pay you in the morning before you touch any other problems. I was going and dealing with other people's issues, not mine.
Yeah.
And then I learned like that was a big takeaway. Like you have to be that way. Like I've wasted so much time, and I'm glad. I gotta appreciate the fact that I am where I am, and I've achieved in mentally all the growth I have. But also sometimes it's hard when you look at yourself and you go, like, what am I doing? Like, who the hell? Why would I do this stuff? It's not getting me where I want to go. What gets me where I want to go is when I delegate, right? Delegate. You hire more team members. Like that's what all the successful people do. They don't just do everything themselves.
Prioritize, and delegate. Yeah.
Mario's not swinging a hammer, right? Mario's like you're not going to make money swinging a hammer, typically, right?
No, it takes you hit it on the head. It's discipline, and if we boil every single person's life down and look at their, take a magnifying glass and look at their unhappiness or look at their lack of growth or whatever, it's discipline. It comes down to discipline. Watching too many shows on Netflix, on Instagram too much. And
so true.
I think the biggest dilemma that we have is actually abundance. We actually all have way too much. Even if you're homeless nowadays, you probably have a cell phone. That's abundance, right? And like people here in the United States, some people will look at this negatively, but and call me a liar, but it's not true. Is that even people in the lowest class, they have abundance. Now the problem with the abundance they have is like it's a lot of garbage. And so like we do have an abundance of food, but it's a lot of garbage. We have an abundance of things that stimulate us, but it's a lot of garbage. And so it takes a lot of discipline. I suffer from it every single day. I try to teach it to my kids. Like, you get stuck on YouTube going through reels and all that. Like, these people who invented all this and continually reinvent all these, they know what they're doing. I mean, look at what's going on with TikTok. TikTok in China, they put out certain content that educates the public. And then the content they give us in the US is to dumb us down. And so you got to, have these mental gates on to where you go, like, I'm going to focus on this stuff. And hey, at least for myself, I don't know about everybody else, but sometimes it's better if I just don't go on YouTube or I don't go on Instagram or whatever. Or if I tell myself, okay, you're going to go on just to post and you're not going to look at anything because you're going to get caught in that whole whirlwind and you don't have time, but you got to post. So get on there, post, and get the heck off. And I really think that if people for New Year's resolution could just give themselves some simple rules around discipline, drinking one less soda, drinking one more glass of water, right? Turning off the show, going for a walk, reading a book instead. I mean, something, right? Because I'll tell you what, there's going to be another show and another show and another show. And it's not to say that you can't watch some shows on TV, but again, do it within discipline. Don't go and binge for 8 hours when you know that you should be getting stuff done. And I think that if the average person focused a bit more on that, we'd have so much more happiness in this world. And people would be so less focused on like all this nonsense. Turn the freaking news off, for instance. They're not there to help you. They're there to scare the shit out of you.
Exactly.
Control you. Okay.
And those things are already happened. I mean, most of the news is already done. You cannot change it. Oh my gosh, I hate it. You're so right, but Mario. And what you're saying is so true. It's the discipline which makes us successful or unsuccessful in our relationships with family, with our business, all the different people we lead and so forth like that. We got to be totally loving. Again, I say that again, loving yourself, because if you're loving you and what you're doing, then nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. And you got to be always be growing, because if you're not growing, you are degrading yourself. And like you said, you don't need to work and I don't need to work. But what will we do? We'll be vegetable on a sofa and we'll die. I mean, I really believe if you don't stimulate your mind, you're dying. Literally, that's what I say. Yeah.
100%.
Actually,
No,
there's
look,
business secrets from the Bible. Have Daniel Lapin. I listened to the book. It's a fact, but it's definitely not a fun fact. But he said, when you stop giving value to the world, you die. When you
Yeah.
stop, so people that retire and they just want to just hang out at 62 years old or something, 65, and you stop giving that value. And that was a really scary thing. I actually did a podcast with them, but I asked them to elaborate on that. And, you know, it kind of makes sense. And I've thought about the, you know, people I've known that have worked till they're 94, 95, and they just go out with the bang and they love it. And then I see people that retire and then like a month later they get sick. And
Yeah.
it's
So
scary,
true. So
but
true.
it could be true.
Oh my
With-
gosh. I'm so excited that I'll be 71 next year. 7-1.
Wow.
And you aren't
7-1.
stopping anytime soon, Vinny.
71 young.
I mean, I want to be like this when I'm 81 and 91. God give me strength. But the big thing is exercising and taking care of your mind, body, and soul is so important. The yoga, the exercise in the morning, 7 days a week, walk I do. I mean, everybody should do it. And hopefully you are doing it, because eat right and be well mentally, physically, because then you can really provide value to others.
I wanna second on what Vinny just said. I want everybody to think about the last time you were like horribly sick, like really, really sick, bedridden sick. You're in bed, you can't get out of bed. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I think that this is what helps me be healthy, make the health choices that I should. I think, okay, did I like that? Like how like you feel like shackled, like you feel like a prisoner. And I think about that and I go, you know what? All right, I'm going to figure out how to get this 8 hours of sleep because I need it. I can't just go with 5-6 hours of sleep every night because your body recovers every single night. But you got to get that 8 hours, at least 7-8 hours. And so it's like, I think it's really important what you said, Vinny. These are the basics. This is the foundational piece.
Yeah.
Is that you have to have your health and you have to have
Mario.
your physical health. You have to have your
Mario's,
mental-
hey Mario, you've only been sick like one time in like the last 8 years, right?
Yeah,
Or twice.
COVID. That was it.
COVID. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Mario hasn't been. He's gotten COVID once, but he doesn't get colds. Like you know, I still get sick. I don't get sick that often, but Mario like never gets sick because the dude is super disciplined with his diet. Super disciplined. He does. He follows a ketogenic diet, and he's very with his supplements, so he doesn't get sick, right?
So my wife and kids were just sick. My wife was the last one to get sick. I'm still sleeping in bed with her. Everything else, you know, knock on wood, I haven't gotten sick. She's over it now. They had some sort of a virus. It's like flu-like symptoms and temperatures and all this sort of stuff. And then we went with family for Christmas, and we found out 2 families that were there were also sick during the time and all that. I didn't get sick. But I tell you what, when I found out, like they got sick and I was around people that were sick, exactly what I just said. I looked at my calendar and I was like, you know what? I'm so busy. I can only get 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep. I got to figure it out. You got to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And I got to be disciplined of taking my supplements and eating well. And the other thing that I personally do is I intermittent fast. So I go 16 to 20 hours every single day without eating. And sometimes
Good.
I'll go like, hey, I kind of feel like eating. Nope, drink a big thing of water because you got 4 hours left. And see, everybody has something that drives them, and it probably stems from your childhood normally, right? Of these things. And so for mine, I know I know why I can be so disciplined with health and nutrition, where maybe other areas I'm not so disciplined. And it's because I lost my dad's parents at a fairly young age, because they kind of believed Western medicine and they took the pharmaceuticals that they now in hindsight should have taken, because one of my grandparents was taking something that caused cancer that was supposed to be helping them and died at a young age.
Oh, wow.
And so for me, my goal is to be there for my kids, my grandkids, and I don't want the same thing to happen to me, because I think about my grandparents every single day. They were so close to me. And so it's a realization that we only have so much time. Our time is finite. We might as well enjoy what the heck we're doing, give energy to what we're doing right now, not sitting around and being lazy. And then what Tiffany said is helping. It's helping people. If we're not constantly helping people, what are you doing? What's your purpose here on earth? If you're not doing something positive, then you're doing something negative. There's no in between.
So
Ultimately,
true.
there's no in
So
between.
true. So
So
true.
focus
No,
on that positive.
thank you so much, Mario, and thank you so much, Tiffany. Love to invite you again in the next year. Please join us. I would like, you both to also, come as many times you would like to come on the show. I think it's a lot more productive, a lot more fun, and even suggest other, speakers also who are following us, Vinney and Beau show. And, it's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific starting next week and every Friday, and then 12 noon on the East Coast. I want to thank, and I know Beau also wants to thank both of you for joining us today. And let's go with a bang this 2022, and let's crush it in 2023. We appreciate everybody joining. Brother, any last comments, Beau?
No, I think this is a great episode. I mean, I think this really gears people for 2023. It's what you're going to make out of it. And
Yeah.
I just bought David Goggins' next book, and it looks good. So I'm excited to listen to that on Audible. David Goggins, I'm a huge fan of him because he's one of those guys that can grit through anything. I don't necessarily want to be as tough as he is, but I like what he says. He says, like, when you're at the gym and you're doing push-ups and you want to give up, you still got 40% left in your tank. Anything in life, remember that. Like, you always have more in your tank. It's your little, on the right side of your brain saying, "Oh, stop, you're uncomfortable," right? You're like, so get out of your comfort zone. If your comfort zone is not doing a podcast or getting in front of getting on stages, like, I know the more stages I get on, either podcasts or real stages, it's going to create more business for me. So what does that mean? I have to put myself out there. Put yourself out there, everybody. 2023
Excellent. And
will be a big year.
Tiffany Rose is a great loan broker in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area. Tiffany, you want to tell how people can reach you? And also, you got a great course coming up that you're launching in March. Could you please tell us?
Absolutely. And by the way, Beau, I think about that you told me that so much about the gym. When you think you're done doing push-ups and you have a little bit more to give. I don't do push-ups, but I just think about it in other ways, or like 10 more minutes on the treadmill or something. But maybe this year I'll start the push-ups. But yes, I am launching Ignite Mortgage Loan Officer Academy. I'm going to change the industry through purpose and process, help people get away from call reluctance and forget the cold calling and learning to take action. I always say, like, I don't have to be smart. I just start. That is like my quote for 2023. You don't have to be smart. You just start. So don't make, if I could do it, other people can do it. I used to shake and sit there at the computer like, I have to figure out how to write a book. I have to figure out how to do this. I don't know how to use Canva. And I just started, and you get better. So so you can reach me at Tiff Rose 1111 is my Instagram, or T Rose Guild. My Facebook is at Loans by Tiffany, and my site is loansbytiffanyrose.com. There's all my podcast episodes. There'll be some information about my launch in March, and that's where you find me.
Love it.
One quick suggestion, Tiffany, you should get like, see how we have like BeauEckstein.biz? That takes people to my digital business card and lays everything out there. I think you need to do tiffrose.biz or something. And then point that URL at either your link tree or digital business card with all your info. That's like the easiest way of doing it.
I think I have that, and I haven't figured out how to share it or use it or whatever. But I got to ask Lauren.
But buy a domain name like trose.biz or whatever. Tiff.
Good idea.
Rose.biz. And then Vinny's got one. I've got one. Mario can do the same thing. It just makes it super streamlined. So that's the other idea. Every task we do is a multiply. Like we put a little more effort today, but it's going to then, like, for example, getting your VA to do a task for you ongoing. It's going to take a little bit more work over the next couple of days.
Yes.
But then you can forget about it. That's a multiplier. Everything should be a multiplier.
Love it.
Mario.
Excellent. Brother Mario, how can people reach you, bro? Yes.
Well, I'm on all the channels, like, maybe not as many channels as you guys are, but I have plenty of that out there. My name is fairly unique, so if anybody just Googles me, last name MAZZAMUTO, you'll find me. And I have plenty of stuff out there, but always happy to help, because guess what? That's what brings you joy, right? Yes. And you guys will figure that out. Like, what's the number one thing that brings you joy? Get out there, get out of yourself, get out of your own head, and just help somebody else out. And wow, isn't that kind of crazy? By helping somebody else out, I could actually make some money from doing that. And so it's a win-win situation. It's the perfect
love
win-win
it.
situation.
Love it. Love it. Here's to great 2023. We're going to go with a bang. We'll see you next year. Thank you for joining.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
So happy to be on your show finally.
I'm a long-time fan and I watch all your guys' content.
It's awesome. We're very, very, very invested in our community.
It's wonderful to be here.
This is Vinney Chopra and also my good buddy, BeauEckstein. And we are so happy.
It's amazing what's going to happen. So, we're amped up to do the show, and we got a lot of hype about the guest today, so I'm excited.
Oh, I know.
So excited.
Come live to you all. Come to you live 9:30 every Friday. How to take your business to the next